Picture this. It's 1999, and a disgraced television star walks onto the Howard Stern show. The interview becomes a disaster. Hours later, on her way home, she stops to visit family. And then, she's found dead. As investigators piece together that final night, they uncover chilling details that would shake Hollywood to its core. We all know stories of celebrities gone bad, but when Dana Plato, different strokes sweet as pie Kimberly, spiraled out of control, the world couldn't look away. Her short life became a tragic checklist of everything that can go wrong: drugs, adult films, an armed robbery at a video store. The public watched, transfixed, as this fragile life shattered in real time. Dana Michelle Strain entered the world in Maywood, California in 1964. At just 7 months old, her teenage mother made the heart-wrenching decision to give her up for adoption. Dean and Florini Plato became her new parents, settling in the San Fernando Valley. But for Florini, little Dana wasn't just a daughter, she was a project, a ticket to stardom. After the couple divorced, Dana found herself once again with a single parent. But this time, she got too much attention. Florini was obsessed with pushing her daughter into show business, dragging her to countless auditions. Dana appeared in over 100 commercials, but her mother wanted more. She wanted the big screen. At just 13 years old, Dana appeared in The Exorcist II, The Heretic, and returned to Boggy Creek in the same year. Both were horror sequels, and both received absolutely horrific reviews. Her next film, California Suite, fared better, a star-studded production that earned numerous award nominations and even a few wins. But none of this compared to what came next. Shortly after her film debut, Dana auditioned for The Gong Show, that infamous television talent show. She was part of a cheerleading team, and during her audition, a TV producer noticed something special in her. He offered her a role in a different production entirely. The show was called Different Strokes, and Dana was up for one of the leads. But there was something standing in her way. At the exact same time, she was considering trying out for the U.S. Olympic figure skating team. She was still just a kid, facing a life-changing decision: skating or acting. She chose acting. This would later prove to be a devastating mistake. After landing the role, Dana quickly settled into playing older sister Kimberly Drummond to her two young adopted brothers, Arnold and Willis Jackson. Todd Bridges and Gary Coleman played the boys, and in a world of adults and producers, the three became close. As it turned out, they would need each other in ways they couldn't imagine. Almost immediately, the show became a massive hit. The three young stars were suddenly thrust into the spotlight, faced with instant stardom. To cope with the crushing pressure, Dana and her TV brothers started down a dangerous path. They turned to booze and drugs, their way of releasing the stress of expectation that weighed on their young shoulders. It got so bad for Dana that sometimes it took her 5 hours just to get sober enough to go to work. During this time, Dana's mother became paranoid, terrified someone would kidnap her daughter. But as it turned out, Mom should have been watching for trouble closer to home. Since the divorce, Dana's father Dean hadn't been much of a presence in her life. But once she became famous, he suddenly wanted a piece of her. In an extraordinary move, Dean sued Dana for support. Unsuccessfully, thank goodness. While still appearing on Different Strokes, Dana met and married rock and roll guitarist Lanny Lambert. She was only 18 years old. Then she got pregnant. A pregnant teen didn't fit the wholesome image of Different Strokes. The show was already dealing with race issues, that was tense enough. The media had also gotten wind of her drinking and drug use. Soon, the producers made their decision: they wrote her off the show altogether. In 1988, Dana lost two loved ones in a single week. She and her husband separated just as her mother lost her battle with a rare skin disease. In one fell swoop, Dana suddenly had no husband, no mother, and no job. Drowning in financial problems, she signed power of attorney to an accountant. It seemed like a smart move, a way to focus on healing without worrying about money. This was a catastrophic mistake. Her accountant disappeared with almost all of her money, leaving her with less than $150,000. And she wasn't the only victim. In total, this unscrupulous accountant stole $11 million from various clients. Dana's separation from her husband lasted 2 years before divorce proceedings began. Due to her financial problems and addiction issues, the judge made a heartbreaking decision. Her son Tyler would go live with his father. Now, Dana was truly alone. But Dana wasn't ready to give up. She was determined to rebrand herself, to shed her childhood image. She did a full pictorial spread for Playboy. She appeared naked in 1989's Prime Suspect. Then came Bikini Beach Race, where she raced in a bed mobile while dressed in lingerie. Unsurprisingly, her film career went nowhere. Dana had lost her husband, her mother, her child, and her fortune, all in the span of a few years. So perhaps she wasn't in her right mind when, in 1991, she walked into a video store, pointed a pellet pistol at the cashier, and demanded all the money. The terrified worker handed over the cash. After this desperate cry for help, Dana was on the run. But once she left the store, the clerk dialed 911 and made what became a world-famous announcement: "I've just been robbed by the girl who played Kimberly on Different Strokes." Dana either came to her senses or realized she was far too recognizable to pull off an armed robbery. She returned to the store to give back the money, which, ironically, was only $164. According to Heather Daly, the clerk at the video store, Dana didn't come back to turn herself in. She came back because she dropped her glasses. Regardless of the reason, Dana was now in custody. And lucky for her, she had a guardian angel she'd never even met. This was rock bottom. She sat alone in a prison cell with no one to bail her out because she literally didn't have a friend in the world. Then, a famous stranger saved her. Entertainer Wayne Newton, Mr. Las Vegas himself, heard about the actress's troubles and stepped up to help. He didn't know Dana at all, but he posted her $13,000 bail. Pointing a loaded pistol at a cashier is serious business, even one that just shoots pellets. But the trial judge, perhaps seeing the clear desperation of the situation, showed mercy and sentenced Dana to only 5 years probation. Following this incident, a national debate erupted about child stars who struggled later in life. And they didn't have to look far for examples. Dana's two child co-stars, Gary Coleman and Todd Bridges, were in as much trouble, if not more, than she was. In 1992, Dana made a rather inauspicious first. She became one of the first celebrities to star in a video game. The game was Night Trap, featuring Dana and a group of girls having a sleepover in a dangerous house. Gamers could watch the young women through live surveillance footage and protect them from harm. Sounds wholesome enough, right? Not according to a US congressional hearing, which quickly shut the game down. That same year, Dana turned herself in to authorities again, this time for forging a prescription for diazepam, a drug that treats anxiety. For this offense, the judge wasn't so lenient. Dana spent 30 days in prison because, in addition to the forgery, she'd violated her probation. After serving her sentence, she started a drug rehabilitation program, and soon found herself desperately low on cash. Throughout the 90s, Dana struggled to make ends meet. She took a job at a dry cleaners, where customers got to have an unexpected run-in with a celebrity while picking up their shirts and pants. Customers reported that Dana was actually very down-to-earth, especially considering she'd once been on a hit TV show. By 1997, Dana was desperate for money, and more than anything, desperate to act again. So when a producer presented her with his off-the-wall idea, she accepted. It was an adult film called Different Strokes, a story of Jack and Jill. A straight-to-video movie about, well, you can guess. Throughout all this turmoil, Dana still had a manager, Robert Manchak, handling her career. Mixing business with pleasure, the two soon became engaged, living together in Florida in a decrepit Winnebago. In 1998, Dana appeared as herself in a movie that hit a little too close to home. Desperation Boulevard tells the story of a child star trying to get her career back in Hollywood. Dana must have been hoping for a redemption arc. Sadly, the end of her story was near. Around this time, her former roommate Jennifer Wiebe claimed that Dana was still using drugs. So the actress went on legendary shock jock Howard Stern's radio show to set the record straight. Dana was remarkably open with Stern about her life, talking about her financial problems and her addictions. Nonetheless, she told Stern and his audience that she'd been sober for 10 years. Stern's radio show always had one intention: causing a sensation. When the call-in portion began, many callers hurled insults at Dana. Some even went so far as questioning her sobriety. To prove to the audience that she truly was clean, she offered to take a drug test right there on the show, letting Stern cut a piece of her hair for the process. Immediately after the interview ended, she asked for the hair back. Then she made a vulnerable confession. She admitted she was on pain medication for a wisdom tooth extraction she'd had 4 months earlier. In other words, she really was back to misusing drugs. The show had been a disaster, and Dana left humiliated. After the Stern show, Dana and her fiancé drove their motorhome to visit his mother. During the visit, Dana said she felt ill and took one of her pain pills, along with a muscle relaxant. Shortly after, she excused herself and went into the motorhome to lie down. It was the last time anyone saw her alive. Later that night, Dana's fiancé went to the motorhome and fell asleep by her side. But when he woke up, he found her body cold and lifeless. She'd overdosed in her sleep. In the immediate aftermath, authorities called it accidental. But that soon changed. An autopsy revealed that Dana had taken far more drugs than one would normally take to treat mild pain. They changed their conclusion. Dana's body was cremated, and loved ones scattered her ashes over the Pacific Ocean. Her net worth at the end of her life was just $1,000. Her son Tyler was only 14 when his mother left this world. He had dreams of being famous like she was, but instead of acting, Tyler took an interest in singing and rapping. Tragically, he inherited his mother's addiction issues, though he did have more support than she ever did. Mother's Day and the anniversary of his mother's passing were always hard for Tyler. Just days before Mother's Day in 2010, he withdrew from friends and family and took his own life at the age of 25. Another life lost too soon. On what would have been Dana's 55th birthday in 2019, her Different Strokes co-star Todd paid tribute to her, a bittersweet reminder of a life filled with promise that ended far too early.